Slow living is a lifestyle that promotes intentionality, mindfulness, and being more present with purpose. It focuses on being more present in your current moment. It promotes quality over quantity. Society has become so fast paced, slow living almost becomes like a counterculture that focuses more on finding your peace, finding your balance, finding your moment in the present. It's about finding peace, balance, and fulfillment. For example, it could be that slow mornings, right? That slow mornings where everyone is sleeping, you're waking up early, or whatever time you're waking up, you have that slow, calm, quiet morning where you're having a cup of chai or you're having a cup of tea and you're just sitting and writing down your intentions, or you're just sitting and enjoying that 10 minutes of breath work, or you're just sitting and just being. Hustle culture is a mindset that glorifies working long hours, focusing more on your productivity and how many hours of work you are putting in. It focuses on how much busy you are and how it is looked at as a badge of honor. Hustle culture can almost lead to a strain in your relationships because career or your tasks often takes precedence over other personal relationships. When was the last time you spent some personal time having a deep conversation with someone without feeling rushed, without feeling the need to do something, without feeling the need that, oh my God, I have this task to be done. I'm having this conversation with you. I'm having a great time with you, but the clock is ticking. I need to go because I have this to be done. And hustle culture can lead to anxiety, burnout, stress, and just complete drainage from your body. Psychologists differentiate between two kinds of well-being: hedonic well-being, which is focused on pleasure, happiness, and the avoidance of pain, and eudaimonic well-being, which is about finding meaning, personal growth, and self-realization. Hustle culture tends to focus on hedonic well-being, achieving success, fame, or wealth for the sake of happiness and pleasure. However, this often leads to superficial satisfaction and doesn't fulfill deeper human needs for purpose and meaning. Slow living is more aligned with eudaimonic well-being. It emphasizes meaningful experiences, personal growth, relationships, and connection to oneself, leading to deeper and longer-lasting satisfaction. Maslach's burnout theory tells us that constant stress, constant prolonged stress can lead to complete mental exhaustion, burnouts, and just complete deterioration of your mental and physical health. The flow theory. When you are in the flow, it means you're completely absorbed and, working in a flow which is so seamless, so smooth. It's like effortless almost. So slow living promotes when you are reading that book, you're just focusing on that book. You are so much in that zone, in that kind of a zone moment, that you really don't care about anything else. It helps us engage more completely. So dedicating that time to that particular task that you have in hand at that moment. The world of social media and technology, where we have so many people, so many brands, so many companies vying for our attention, slow living, well, in a way, can reclaim your attention, because when you are taking the power back, you can decide who you give attention to and who you don't want to give attention to, what brand you want to invest in, who's maybe focusing more on sustainable practices, and what brand you don't want to really give your attention to. It takes your power back, it makes you more mindful, and it basically has that control in your hands of who you want to give your attention to, hence leading to saving a lot of energy and being more wholesome in your own self. Karl Marx's theory of alienation suggests that many people feel disconnected and alienated from their own selves, often because they are constantly measuring themselves in terms of their productivity. They feel completely disconnected from their work because their mere value is related to their productivity. The busyness trap is almost always looked at as something that is a badge of honor, something that also leads to exhaustion and burnouts. But how many times have you heard someone say, oh, I'm too busy to do that. Oh, I'm so busy tomorrow I can't meet you. My schedule is completely locked for the entire month. However, busyness doesn't necessarily lead to good or better results. Social media glorifies and amplifies this toxic culture that leads to comparison, making people feel a little more inadequate in their day-to-day lives, reinforcing this endless cycle of comparison. For example, scrolling through Instagram, you might feel like everyone is winning at life, but maybe they're winning at life just in that highlight reel. A lot of times, many times, what they share on Instagram is always very curated. It's just one 1% of what their lives are. It's just 1% of what they are doing. Their struggles, their low moments, their dark moments are not usually shared. So what you're seeing on Instagram, all the wins that you're seeing at Instagram are just that 1% that is very curated, very stylized, and very perfect. But what about the other side? What about the other 99% of the times? Hustle culture might make people believe that their worth is defined by what they produce. Many struggle to feel relaxed or to even relax or calm themselves down without feeling guilty when they are not producing some work or when they're not doing anything. Have you ever felt guilty when you've taken a day off? Have you ever felt guilty when you've taken that hour, that moment, or that day or 2 days off just to yourself when you're not working? That's hustle culture talking. I'm from India, Mumbai, and I've lived all my life chasing that job, chasing that dream, chasing my next goal, because that is what I was taught. That is what I grew up in. So whether it was my first job where I would take a train from the north of Mumbai to the south of Mumbai, sitting in the train for 2 hours while going and coming back, I did all of that. I was working in different jobs in different places. Then when I moved outside of India, I kind of somehow learned about being a little more mindful. I was always in this kind of a rat race of competition. I should be achieving that. I need to achieve that. My self-worth was only defined by what I have achieved in my life and my career. And obviously that led to a lot of anxiety. That led to a lot of burnout. But sometime back, but after that, when I moved to Italy on a scholarship, I got to realize a lot of other things that I wasn't taught. I got to realize that it's okay to take time to yourself. I got to realize that sometimes it's okay if you just want to sit over there and have a gelato. You just have that gelato without feeling guilty because you deserve it. Again, this is not because you deserve it. Again, when I'm saying that, initially when I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this gelato because I deserve it. I've had a very long day and I deserve this gelato for myself. But again, you don't need to deserve it, right? You need to just have it. You feel like having a gelato, so you go and have that gelato. You don't have to give yourself that reward because you've had a long day, so you don't have to suffer before to give you that reward. You know what I mean? So that is what the thinking that I had forever. And slowly and steadily, my first part in Italy changed that. Then when I moved to the Canary Islands, where I work currently and I reside, it taught me something even more. It made me very, very much aware of how important it is to take care of your well-being, how important it is to actually enjoy life. Something as simple as, when I was living in Mumbai, when I was working constantly, even when I was living in the cities in Europe, I was constantly living for the weekends, right? Throughout the week, I'm gonna really work it out, and on weekends, I'm looking forward to the Friday, right? But that's not how it should be. You should be enjoying every day. You shouldn't only be looking forward to your weekends. You should be having a day, planning your day in such a manner that you are enjoying every moment through it. Of course, it's hard, right? But if you plan it a little bit, if you be a little more mindful through it, then maybe you can also achieve that. When I moved to the Canary Islands, it taught me a lot more about being present. It taught me a lot more about how to connect with nature. It taught me a lot more that I am not defined by my achievements. My job does not define me. Me as a person, I'm completely a different entity, and my job is a complete different entity. These two things don't go together. Of course, of course, I am a designer, I am a writer, I am an entrepreneur, I am a DJ, I do all of that. But, those are things that I enjoy doing. Those are things that I do for a living, or those are things that I do for my passion. But me as a person is a completely different person than my job or my work. And that is when I had that realization. It was like the Eureka moment. Sometimes it's hustle culture mixed with conditioning. Times when I'm working around in different groups and different nationalities, and times I look at people around me and they seem pretty chill and not stressed and guilty at all. While I'm the one who takes that one day off, or when on the weekend I'm not doing something productive, I feel very guilty. When weekends are meant to relax. And this is a kind of a conditioning with hustle culture and growing up in India that I've learned that you have to constantly be doing something, you have to constantly be producing something, you have to constantly be investing into something. and not waste your time. Well, wasting your time relaxing and taking time to yourself, recharging your batteries to be able to work better or to be able to produce better or to be able to just be a better person is not a waste of time. You shouldn't be feeling guilty because of that. It's not you, it's the conditioning and the hustle culture talking. Slow living has its origins in the slow food movement, which encouraged people to take their time while preparing their meals. It encouraged people to take their time while enjoying their meals instead of rushing through it all. Promotes mental clarity and well-being. Imagine when you're having that breakfast in the morning. Instead of rushing through the breakfast, you are literally enjoying and savoring every bite. One leaves you stressed, the other leaves you a little more content. Instead of chasing short-lived thrills, slow living encourages us to have those experiences of valuing personal relationships, valuing this moment that you're having with that other person, respecting the other person, and also yourself, leading to personal growth, learning, and relationship progress. Instead of hustle culture always promotes that you got to do everything, you got to do so many things in one day. But so basically it promotes multitasking. There was a point when I was multitasking between my careers, 2 to 3 different careers, between my studies, between everything, and I literally had a major burnout. I had to understand how to monotask. So hustle culture that promotes multitasking versus slow living that promotes focusing on that one task that is there on your hand, in that moment. In that way, you are able to give your 100% to that task that you're working on instead of putting your mind into 100 different tasks at one time. When you really do that, you are not giving the equal attention and equal time and equal quality to all those tasks. Being matches and aligns with the 80-20 rule. That is, the 20% leads and yields the better results. That is, focusing on the 20% efforts yields better results. Practical tips to incorporate slow living. Start your mornings with intention. Create a morning routine where you're not waking up and looking at your phone, looking at all the messages, the emails, and the works. Instead, you are not looking at your phone at all in the first half an hour or 45 minutes. Maybe you are just focusing on that tea that you're having in the morning. You're focusing on journaling, on writing your intention. How do you want your day to be? Focusing on the present moment. Being present with yourself, focusing on your breath, doing that 5-minute, 10-minute breath work ritual, or whatever you like to do in the mornings, where you're just spending time with yourself and not suddenly getting immersed into the stimulation of the hustle culture. That is your phone. Be the tea that you're having, it could be the breakfast you want to make, it simply be that slow breakfast where you're just being present and having some mindful eating. You will see the difference between how you were eating yesterday, rushing through, this delicious food that you were having, delicious eggs that you were having, versus when you had paid no attention to the delicious eggs that you were having and you were just eating. Scientifically, it's also proven when you're just rushing and eating, the nutrients of the food also don't get passed into you. Right? So if you are consciously eating, then the nutrients of the food also get passed to you. Disconnect. Digital detox. Disconnect from social media. Disconnect from technology. Disconnect from social media. Can be maybe set a timer of like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes per day that you want to use Instagram, or set a timer on how much you want to spend your time on social media daily. Disconnect yourself. Take regular social media breaks, because the more you are doom scrolling, the more stimulation, the more information, the more fed your mind is. It could be that 1 hour of digital detox that you do every day in the evening, where you're focusing on maybe cycling, or maybe you are doing yoga, maybe you are doing meditation. So dedicate that 1 hour every day, at least to start with, to just have a complete digital detox. Learn to say no. Setting boundaries is the first step of slow living. Maybe there are commitments that leave you drained. Maybe there are activities that you don't feel like doing. Maybe there are certain things that you just don't feel like doing, but you find yourself saying yes, no. Start saying no to things that feel like straining your energy, to people that you feel are like energy vampires. Start by setting boundaries today. Create time for rest. Practice downtime each day. It could be that hour. It could be even 10 to 15 minutes breaks. 15-minute breaks that you take throughout the day. It could be, if you've done the Pomodoro method, It works for some people, it doesn't for some people. For me, it works, but sometimes when I'm in the flow, I prefer to just continue working in the flow and then take my dedicated breaks. But maybe if the Pomodoro technique works with you, then maybe you are focusing the 25 minutes into work and doing that task that you have to do and taking the other 10 minutes as a dedicated break. Embrace boredom. Embrace boredom. Hustle culture tells us that we have to constantly be occupied. We got to constantly keep doing something. No, embrace boredom. Learn to be bored. It's okay if you're bored. It's okay that you don't know what to do. It's okay to just sit over there and be bored. When you are bored, you are actually generating a lot of creativity in that boredom and a lot of self-reflection. Finding success. Hustle culture always promotes that, you got to focus on your success. You got to focus on your materialistic things. What have you achieved? What is all that? But you have to define your own success. Your success is not defined by the position you hold. Your success is not defined by the assets you hold. Your success is ultimately how happy, healthy, and at peace you are in your life. How happy, healthy, and in peace you are in your life, and how you are still pursuing the things that do make you happy. You have your family around you. You have your best friends, your friends around you. You have people that you care for, people you care about, and you're doing something that you love. Success is defined very differently for different people. Create your own definition of success. The concept of enough. Slow living promotes this contentment. I know as mortal beings, we are never really content. We are always striving for more. We always want to get, when we've got this thing in our life, we want to strive to get more. It's very healthy to strive for more. It's very healthy to set goals and achieve them as well. But contentment is something that comes over time. The beauty of slow living is to be content with what you have in the moment and not to have this kind of an anxiety that, oh my God, I haven't achieved this, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I still need to do that. Okay, you got to do that, and you will do that in your own time, at your own pace. But what you have right now, what you've achieved till now, celebrate it, rejoice about it, and focus on what you have in the moment and slowly take steps to achieve whatever your next step is. Dream job. Hustle culture promotes that, you gotta get that dream job. You gotta get that dream job, because once you get that dream job, it won't even feel like you're working. So what usually happens, it's happened to me, when I feel like I'm writing on something, I feel like, wow, I'm doing something that I gotta do. But again, that still leads to burnouts, because I feel like I'm constantly doing something, I'm working on it, my productivity levels are rising, but I still do feel like a burnout. Romanticizing the idea of a dream job. If you are doing something that you love, then that's fantastic. But even through that, it can lead to burnouts. So do take your necessary dedicated breaks to be able to get back to that dream job and to do better. Attach self-worth from achievement. What you have achieved does not define you. That's just one part of you. Who you are, what your identity is, does not define who or what you've achieved, or what kind of position do you hold at your workplace, or what kind of business you've started, what's your evaluation, how much you're worth in money. No, that does not define you. Detach your self-worth related to your achievements. Your identity is one thing, your job is one thing. They are two complete separate things. Slow living does not mean quitting your job. No, not at all. It's about the work-life balance. It's about dedicating your time when you are working to your work, and after you're done working, you dedicate that time to your recreational activities, or to things that are basically not related to work and more related to your well-being. Could be reading, could be going for a walk, could be cooking that delicious meal, could be going grocery shopping, could be whatever you have to do that is not related to work. It's ultimately finding that work-life balance. In decluttering your life, could be mental and physical. Remove the tasks that don't serve you. Remove the clutter in your room that don't serve you. As you remove and minimalize yourself with a lot of clutter, physical and mental, you will see a lot more space for you to work around with your own self. Cut out the non-essential distractions that don't serve for your well-being. Connection to nature is so important. I understand if you live in a city, maybe you don't have that nature around you, but there is a park, right? There are trees everywhere. Go and spend a little more time every day connecting to nature. It could be sitting under that tree. It could be sitting and reading under that tree. It could be going anywhere close to a water body. It could be any kind of access that you have to nature. please, please, please go and access it. You will see how, when you are spending more time in nature, how much it generates, how much it rejuvenates you, and how much energy it transmits to you, and the same energy you transmit it back. It's like a give and take, but a beautiful, sustainable, fulfilling, wholesome give and take. I'm not saying that you gotta quit your jobs, you gotta, just become that rebel. No, you do what you gotta do. But know that there is a better way to do it. There is a better way to reclaim your attention. There is a better way to enjoy through it all. There's a better way to be a little more mindful, which will give you long-term benefits for your mental and physical well-being as well. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked my video, please like, subscribe, and share, and let me know in the comments.